Good evening, everybody. Just having a look at quite a few people turning up tonight who have been to a few of our talks before. I'm Sarah from Dive Worldwide and Regal Dive. I'm the product manager, so you don't speak to me so much, but you might have met me at the dive shows. And sometimes I do some quotes for Grenada and Carriacou too. Tonight we've got Tiffany from Aquanauts on the island of Grenada, and we've also got Gary from the lovely Carriacou, just north of the main island there. Got some colleagues too. Excellent. The hecklers have arrived. Brilliant. Some good numbers. Don't know if Tiffany and Gary can you see the chat as well? Got Pat. Yeah. Pat saying hello.
Patricia down. Hello.
We remember you, Pat. Good to see you online here.
Excellent. Thanks for joining us.
Cool. Well, I won't keep everyone. Seems to be quite a lot of people here promptly, so that's great. Hello, Sandy. Cool. I'll just introduce the tiny bit about Grenada. Is right at the bottom of the Caribbean chain, made up of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. It's about 10 hours flight from London, and we believe at the moment the schedules are twice weekly on PA from Gatwick and Virgin from Heathrow, kind of covering Wednesday, Saturday, Friday, Monday. But the schedules are changing. Some change seasonally, so just speak to your dive consultant and we'll get you on the right plane, and Tiffany will meet you at the airport. Maybe not personally, but someone will. Grenada is renowned for its gorgeous beaches, maybe more so in Carriacou where Gary is. It's a rainforest, waterfalls, hiking, chocolate, rum, spices, hence its nickname, the Spice Islands. There's like about 30 dive sites, I believe, on Grenada, and even more over in Carriacou. And it's great for anyone from beginning right through to Gary's been doing some dive master courses today, and also there's technical diving available for anyone who's a little bit more on that side of things. Sailing's massive over there, as with any Caribbean island. It's got an intriguing history, friendly locals, and a place where you can relax in nature, basically, have a good time. And Chuba Bay is one of the places where we feature on Grenada, which is very colourful and has a whole bunch of different kinds of accommodation for people to stay in. And then over with Gary on Carriacou, it's a little bit more rustic, let's say. It's a smaller island. There aren't any big hotels or anything like that, so it's more guest housey and more personal service, as you'll get with Aquanauts at Chuba Bay as well. And that's enough for me. Oh, sorry, to get over to Carriacou at the moment is the ferry. So twice a day, I believe, 3 times a week. Anyway, once we do the quotes and start organising your trips, we'll put all that together for you. Okie dokie, that's enough from me. Let's hear from the people on the ground. I'm going to introduce you to Tiffany here from Aquanauts, and she'll take you through the diving and how things operate over on Chuba Bay.
Yep.
All yours, Tiffany.
Hello, guys. Yeah, thank you so much, Sarah. Really appreciate the introduction. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening, and looking forward to sharing on Grenada. So my name's Tiffany. I am bookings and marketing manager for Aquanauts Grenada. My family and I recently took over last January. So it's been a year now that we've been running Aquanauts Grenada, and it's been a challenging year and a very wonderful year. So yeah, looking forward to sharing a little bit about all that we got here, and hopefully welcoming some of you guys, either familiar faces like Patricia back, or some new guests as well. So I'm going to share my screen and then jump into the presentation. So diving in the wreck capital of the Caribbean, first, of course, we got to start off with some pretty pictures. Grenada is known for its wrecks. We have a ton of them, some that are beginner friendly, and then some that are for advanced and nitrox certified divers only. A wonderful variety here. So where is Grenada? Well, we are at the very south end of the Caribbean chain, and yeah, just north of South America. We are, yeah, I'll tell a little bit more about Grenada, but basically, yeah, so we have direct flights from, like we mentioned, Virgin and British Airways from the UK coming into Grenada 2 times per week. So for Aquanauts Grenada, we have 2 shop locations. Our main headquarters, which is where basically all of our diving facilitates from, is at Chuba Bay Resort here, shop number 1. This is the airport here, and then shop number 2 is on Grand Anse Beach, which is located at Spice Island Beach Resort. Grand Anse is the largest beach in Grenada. So that is our 2 locations. This one's more of a water sports facility, which I'll talk about Spice Island Beach Resort later on in the presentation. And that'll tell you a little bit more about our offerings at that location versus at True Blue Bay Resort, which is where our boats are moored, or sorry, on the docks at. So Grenada, it is a tri-island state. There's Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique, which Gary will talk all about Carriacou. Right now, I'm just going to focus on the main island of Grenada, which is the largest island in the chain. So we're nicknamed the Spice Island, the Island of Spice, Spice Island, due to our history with nutmeg. We also have a ton of different spices on island. You walk around and it's basically like a island garden where you can just find bushes and trees all by you. And the locals actually tend to use those spices for their cooking and or eating, whatever it may be, as far as the tree or the bush. Population size, a little over 100,000, so it's not too big. Our official language is English, so it's pretty easy to get around. Currency, it's Eastern Caribbean dollar is the local currency, or many places take US dollar, so you're comfortable to bring both. As far as being able to pay while you're on island. The capital is St. George's, which is a picture here. This is the Carriacou, which has a ton of beautiful buildings, colorful, and it's basically the quote unquote city, if you can think of a city on an island. We have 45 beaches and 18 waterfalls, so there's lots to do on island here as far as adventuring around and enjoying. This is just a few bullet points about the options that are available as far as land adventures. So if you have any, family or friends that may want to come with you, but they're not scuba divers, there's still tons to do as far as if you want an adventurous vacation or you wanted something a little bit more relaxed where you're just hanging out on the beach, going to a sulfur spring, having like a mud bath, getting massages, whatever it may be, whatever your style of vacation is, there's tons of options. Our personal favorites, of course, diving and snorkeling. So that is where I'm going to take our attention to. Of course, some more pretty pictures. So although we are the wreck capital of the Caribbean, there's also beautiful reefs here. Lots of big life to see as far as like sharks, rays. We also get manta rays, they're seasonal, and macro life. So we have lots of seahorses, frogfishes, nudibranchs. We have tons of life, big to small, lots to see. So if you're not into wrecks at all, there's still so much to see here. So the diving in Grenada, we have over 17 wrecks now and 30 reef systems to explore. And this is just a representation of the dive sites on the main island. We also have the world's first underwater sculpture park by British artist Jason Nicaras-Taylor. So if you guys have seen the underwater sculptures all around the world, like Indonesia and Mexico, same artist, and this was actually his first project, is in our marine protected area. It was just recently renovated, so you will actually, if you've seen them before, you get a new tour where some of the pieces are actually in different places. And hopefully later this year, if not next year, we'll actually be getting another statue put in. So more details obviously to come as that progresses. But this is a little bit about the diving. Again, there are dive sites which are beginner friendly. So like Veronica L. Wreck, for instance, sits at 18 meters max depth, and she's covered in corals and life. So that's the beautiful beginner's dive. That's where we actually like to take people on their first or second day of diving, just basically like a checkout dive. and it's beautiful. One of my personal favorites, honestly. Yeah, so these are plentiful dive sites. Definitely recommend experiencing Bianca Sea, which is our Titanic of the Caribbean. She is a 600-foot cruise liner that sits at max depth 160 feet. So that's like, oh, I'm so bad at meters, but I think it's like 42, 45 meters, something like that. It's tech diving, basically. If you wanted to go visit the anchor of Bianca, would be tech diving for those that are advanced and nitrox certified. You can still dive her. The top of her sits at about 100 feet, which is about 37 meters, I believe. Sorry, my math is bad. I probably should have practiced that before this presentation, but you can obviously look it up in Google as well and see what the max depths, or send us an email. And obviously one of our team will be able to provide more in-depth information. One of our head instructors is actually from the UK as well. His name is Paul. So obviously he's great with the meters game. All right, so yeah, that's a little bit about the diving here in Grenada. So I had a beautiful video that I was going to share, which is all about the diving experience with Aquanauts. Unfortunately, the video is not working today, so we're just going to continue on, and I'll try to cover the information in the slides versus obviously with the video. I was hoping to be able to share that video with you guys, so I apologize for the inconvenience caused, but you'll still get the good information. So our headquarters is located at Chuba Bay Resort, which is this beautiful resort that also has dock access. So we're the only dock access in the country. So we're pretty excited about that because that allows for us to be able to provide services for adaptable divers as well. So we offer snorkeling, free diving, scuba courses, tech diving. So those that dive rebreather or trimix, we are fully capable of being able to support your adventures and or actually get you certified as well. So like I said, adaptive diving for those guests who still want to travel and experience the planet, we are fully capable of being able to support your underwater adventures as well. As a shop, we also do monthly lionfish tacos nights and cleanup dives. So we do a bunch of different eco-conscious events. Yeah, if you're interested in hunting the invasive lionfish, definitely reach out to us and ask more about, or actually, sorry, reach out to your tour operator. They can provide more information. I sincerely apologize. Obviously, we love working with our tour operators. So yeah, definitely contact either Dive Worldwide or Regal Dive with your questions, and they will ask us and we will contact them and let them know as well. Just want to clarify that real quick, but continuing on, we have yoga and scuba yoga. So I am actually also a certified yoga instructor. So I teach weekly on Thursday mornings from 6:30 to 7:30 a.m. So then you can go over to breakfast and beginning your dives. So if you are interested in doing more sessions early in the morning before diving, we could also talk while you're on island and we can set those up as well. Yeah, that's a few of our offerings at Aquanauts. So our dive boats, we have 3 of them. One, our largest is Calypso. She is 43 foot and provides lots of space. All of our boats have toilets, hand sanitizers, freshwater showers, camera tables and camera rig stations, as well as platforms at the back and ladders to be able to provide easy experience, an enjoyable experience. We also have sun and shade spots. So if you wanted to catch some color while you're out here, you definitely have those options. Or if you wanted to hide for the day because you're getting a little sunburnt, obviously we have that possibility as well. Dive services with Aquanauts. So here we believe in safe diving and nitrox certifications. If you are certified, you get to enjoy free nitrox 30% during your stay. We also offer valet diving experience. So basically we'll take your equipment the first day of your arrival, and then your equipment will be set up on the boats when you come back from breakfast. And then at the end of the day, we'll rinse it off and take care of it for you. The only thing that we cannot handle due to COVID protocols is regulators. So we are asking that guests take those back with you after diving, and you can rinse those off in the shower in your hotel room. If you're staying at True Blue, it's nice and easy. That way it still stays clean. So we offer tech and rebreather support and courses like mentioned, and variety of courses as well within the PADI, SI, SDI, TDI, and HSA realms. We offer the 12-liter tanks. We have yoke and din valves available for both sets of divers. So if you are din, just definitely let us know in advance. And that shouldn't be an issue at all to be able to enjoy those. 15 liters are available for surcharge. Rental equipment is all Scuba Pro. So if you needed anything, BCD, regs, fins, all that fun stuff, we gotcha. And we also have the underwater camera rentals and scooter rentals. We're running trips daily in the morning, 2 tank morning dives, and then our 1 tank afternoon dives and night dive or sunrise dives by demand. So Chuba Bay Resort. I was gonna, obviously that video had a lot of details with them, so I don't have a ton of pictures for Blue, but I do have a layout picture that kind of shows you the property and the different areas that you can stay. So their cocoa pods are over here, over in the left-hand corner. They also have 4 pools, so you won't see it in this picture, but there's a pool right here in between the 2 cocoa pod areas. There's also a big pool right here that actually has a Grenada sign if you'd like to take pictures during your stay. And then they have the infinity pool here and 1 more pool up here, which is the Bayview pool. They have the Villas, Indigo rooms, True Blue Standard and Tower suites, waterfront suites, and here is where our dive shop is located in comparison to all the rooms. Nice and accessible, very easy to get to. We also have the dock that connects our dive shop and the Dodgy Dock restaurant. So it's nice and easy. You have breakfast here, wander around the dock, and then straight to the dive boats. And you're ready to go underwater. They have a bakery up here, which is actually very delicious. Ice creams and bakery, like muffins and stuff like that. Delicious, definitely recommend to try. And the open air yoga studio is right here with a really beautiful view up there. You can, obviously classes go daily. And then if you guys are looking for around the dive schedule, there's classes that are available in the morning or in the evening as well. For guests staying at True Blue Bay Resort, you have the Hobie Cats, kayaks, and paddle boards that are available for you for your use during your stay. So again, if you have any dive family or non-dive family or friends that wanted to come, they still have plenty full activities here at True Blue Bay Resort for them to enjoy. Every Wednesday is Street Food Wednesday Festival. So you have a bunch of street food vendors that come in and you get to try a bunch of different foods at the restaurant. And it's a great night. They have live bands, some dance area if you wanted to move your feet a little bit. Lots of fun stuff on Wednesdays. Cooking classes will return and their chocolate festival is in May. Another great option for Grenada is Blue Horizons Garden Resort. They're the sister resort to Spice Island Beach Resort, which I'll cover in the next slide. So this is perfect for someone who still wants to have their own tailored experience as far as like having a kitchenette, being able to cook whatever foods, going to the grocery store and doing that option. They also have restaurants on site, of course. So if you didn't feel like cooking for yourself one night, you could obviously go to their restaurant as well. It's 5 to 7 minute walk from Grand Anse Beach. It's just inland from Spice Island Beach Resort, so very easily accessible. And with that, you actually get some of the same complimentary water sports as Spice Island Beach Resort, which is where our second shop is located. So you get the use of Hobie Cats, kayaks, paddle boards, and snorkel equipment, which are that 5 to 7 minute walk just across the street. So that is Blue Horizons. We also have Spice Island Beach Resort for those who want a little more luxurious, relaxing experience while diving. This is located directly on Grand Anse Beach. We have our shop there, our second location there, which basically provides the water sports equipment and activities. So the Hobie Cats, kayaks, paddle boards, and snorkel equipment are all free of use during your stay at Spice Island Beach Resort, same as Blue Horizons. So these are very beautiful rooms, luxury style villas with your own pool. You can have some that are right on the beach where you're waking up to the view of the ocean every morning. Really beautiful facility. They also offer weekly yoga classes, which I teach Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So if you were interested in joining one of those classes, obviously those are available for their guests as well. So a little bit about the 3 options over here in Grenada. and a little bit about our dive shop facilities. So if you have any questions, we can do that now. We can also hold the questions for the end as well.
Thank you very much, Tiffany. I'll just come back into life.
Cool. Yeah, sorry. There we go.
We'll get Gary back.
So yeah.
That's brilliant. I just wondered myself, like I obviously forgot to tell everyone to put the Q&A, any questions into the Q&A box. So please feel free to ask any questions, and we'll get them covered for you by the end of the presentation. For me, Tiffany, have you got any particular favourite dive sites that you like the macro stuff, or you prefer just cruising around?
I love macro life. So for the divers that are photographers, I love diving with you because you go very chill and slow and try to find the little things and hang out in one spot for a few minutes. My favorite sites are Veronica L, which is the beginner's wreck, because I'm not a huge wreck person, but I live in the wreck capital of the Caribbean. So I love the wrecks that are covered in the reefs because I love the aquatic life. And Veronica is that beautiful happy medium. We've found a few seahorses living on her frog fishes. So she's always just a blast day and night. That's one of our night dive sites as well. So I just love her in both atmospheres. She's great. One of the ones that I really love that we don't go to often just because it's further up is Halifax. This is a reef system that's probably about 50-minute drive from our location. So it's just past the sculpture park. I know it's a bit of a drive, but it's so worth it because you just have a ton of soft corals, gorgonians of like 5 different species and colors. And it's just really one of those places that's pretty untouched. It doesn't get explored a lot. So that would be one of my favorites. And something that we will probably talk about in the end too is transfers for getting from Grenada to Carriacou, which Gary will introduce Carriacou in just a few minutes or moments. And one of the options we have available is we actually can do diving during your transfer. And so you basically will go for 3 dives from our shop in Grenada. Gary will meet you in Grenada, hop on the boat with you, and then we'll do 3 dives up to Carriacou. And so that would be a great way to see Halifax, as well as the Isle de Ronde, which is another beautiful site I didn't really mention. I actually haven't been there yet, so I'm excited for that day. But yeah, so that's actually a possibility. Again, we can touch on that later on. So if you guys came with a group and wanted to set that up, that's totally a possibility as well. Yeah.
That's fantastic, as we're sat here in gloomy grey weather in January, thinking about getting underwater. It'd be awesome. Before we go to Gary, there's been a couple of questions there. Tiffany, I think.
Yes. All right. Yeah. So, I saw that Gary actually answered the question, but for Jerry Moore, yes, Paul Ward is still with us. He actually just completed his instructor trainer course in Mexico last March. So he's actually putting together his first ITCs. So he's still growing and expanding himself and diving out here. So yeah, he's doing good. We also have, if anybody remembers or recognizes Bruce, our boat captain, also an assistant instructor. We have Crispin, who's now also going to be an assistant instructor, and he's been working as boat captain too. We have Myron, who's back on the team as the dive master. We have Mirko, who's an instructor and also training to take some different specialties. So if you guys took a specialty while with us, you could have a possibility of working with Mirko. Who else is with Jason? Our dock master is amazing. Such a wonderful human, still there, still killing it. Yeah, and I think we basically, there was 6 guys that were still working with Aquanauts when we took over. And so all 6 of them are still on the crew. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for that. I think Gary's helped to answer a couple of questions about the dive sites are kind of 15 to 30 minutes away around the south end there of Grenada. Do you do transfers between hotels and dive shops? Go.
Yeah, we only provide transfers for guests staying at Blue Horizon Spice Island Beach Resort over to True Blue. For guests that stay at other hotels, we can obviously get you in touch with the local taxi driver that can provide the transfers, but we won't be providing that ourselves.
Sure. And Patricia's asked if diving by boat if she stayed somewhere in Grandance. I believe it's all boat diving.
Yes. So yeah, it's all boat diving. But if you stayed somewhere in Grandance, so if you were to stay at a different resort, obviously we can get you connected with a local taxi driver to be able to meet us. If you stayed at Spice Island Beach Resort or Blue Horizons, we actually are doing the shore pickups again for groups of 5 or more. So if you had a group of 5 that stayed at Spice, basically each morning you would just walk onto the beach. Our boat Calypso or Salsa, actually both of them do it, but basically we just moor up, and then Calypso actually has a ramp on the front of her. So if we were able to basically pull up towards the beach, drop the ramp, it's a nice, easy get onto the boat. So we are doing the beach pickups again as well for groups of 5 or more.
Brilliant, brilliant. I just have a quick check of this, the Q&A box. We've got Tiny Diver asking about 10-litre tanks with DIN. And also, can I order 10-litre tanks with DIN and nitrox 10-litre? That is from Tiny Diver, a question there.
So unfortunately, we don't have 10 liters for the ocean. Those are only our pool tanks. And so we don't have any DIN either. Those are only yoke. Obviously, we do have the adapters. So we just have the 12-liter steel tanks, or sorry, aluminum tanks. Not the super heavy one.
Can you click on the Q&A? Tiffany, can you see the question from Jeff about supporting AP Inspo CCRs?
I don't see Jeff's. Last one I see is Jerry's. Oh, Q&A.
Yeah, the Q&A. Yeah,
I see it now.
cool.
Are you able to support AP?
I think the
So
if I can jump.
So I'm going to be completely honest. I am the absolute worst person to talk to about tech diving capabilities. For those, I would basically ask that you go through the tour operator, and we would get those answers from Paul, who is our tech instructor, or Tyler as well, who is our operation, or Gary. Gary, do you have the answers?
Yeah, I've dived with you guys a lot. So the answer
Perfect.
is yes. Yeah, it's AP Inspos that the guys at Aquanauts are using, and so they are able to provide DIL 3-litre tanks, O2, and bailouts as well. I know when I travel down, I bring my unit down, and typically I'll get a 50% nitrox bailout tank from the guys there, just to make it nice and simple and quick for us to turn things around. So yes, going through the tour ops and talking with them and liaising with Paul and the guys at Aquanauts, they'll be able to facilitate that, whether down there or up here in Carriacou as well.
Fantastic. Thanks very much.
That was awesome.
I think
next time.
Yeah, gotcha.
If you ever get off the island. Thanks so much, Tiffany. That was really exciting presentation, even without the video, so people have to come and see it for themselves. And we should now move over to Carriacou by ferry, and a quick share of my screen to Gary's slideshow, and he'll talk us through his lovely little piece of paradise and island. Hopefully this will work. Take it away. I will mute myself.
Thank you. Well, I guess what we can say is, if you're into the relaxation and the rest that is Grenada, then Carriacou is another level altogether. The way we tend to think about Carriacou is where Grenadans come to relax. And so if they're laid back in Grenada, we're almost horizontal up here and a different level altogether. So if I can go to the next slide, please. So also, whilst we're here, I'm a lot older than Tiffany, and therefore tech is not my forte. So what we're doing is having somebody else turn my slides over for me, because I haven't figured out how to do it yet. So as we've said, Carriacou is the sister island, or one of the sister islands to Grenada, along with Petit Martinique. We are the largest of the Grenadine Islands, and at the bottom end of the Grenadine Island chain. What that means for us is that there's lots of small islands and keys all around us. So I think from where I'm sitting here, I can see 4 different islands just off the beach, just out here. It's a very rustic and charming island. It's very friendly. We're 7 miles by 2 and about 6,000 inhabitants. Everything's all very, very laid back and relaxed. As an island, we have been largely missed by multinational corporates and chains. So we have no resorts, we have no large shopping malls, we have no thumping music nightclubs. But what we do have is lots of family-owned facilities, lots of family-owned restaurants and hotels. And as I said, a really old world, old-fashioned, charming feel. Next slide, please. So 7 miles by 2, as I said, nowhere is far away. And so getting around the island is relatively easy. It's also very true of our dive sites, where the majority of our dive sites are less than 10 or 15 minutes away from our dive center in Hillsborough. The island is blessed with a fringing reef system around the majority of the island. And as I've said, there's also these uninhabited islands and keys that make the perfect playground for us as divers. But Carriacou, whereas Grenada is famous for its wrecks, we're all about the reef and the reef systems and the marine life that we have here. We're able to facilitate Carriacou as part of a 2-center package. And as Tiffany alluded to, one of the things that we're launching for 2022 is the ability to take a boat, a dive boat from True Blue and bring it up to here in Carriacou if there's a group of divers coming, and we'll dive at some of the more inaccessible but amazing dive sites that exist between the south of Grenada and us here. So that includes Ile-de-Ronde and Frigate Island as we head up this way. So some absolutely amazing dive sites if people are able to do that. Can I go next slide, please? So what is Carriacou? Well, the name of the island, Carriacou itself, actually means land of many reefs in the original Carib Indian. And it's a testament to our fringing reef system that we have around the island and the very populous fish we have. So the image we have here is at our famous Sisters Rocks, where we have a lot of black gorgonians and there's not a space that's covered in sand. It's soft coral, hard coral everywhere. It's a really beautiful place. So most of our sites, we have more than 30, are very healthy corals, vibrant sponges, and lots of marine life. Depending on the different time of year, there's a lot of seasonality in what we encounter here. I particularly love May, as May is spawning season. And so the reefs are alive with just a wash of color everywhere. There's all the small fry around, but that also brings in all the big fish too. So it's very interesting and challenging there. Next slide. And as I've said, many of our dive sites are literally teeming with life. This image here is the pier in Hillsborough, which is no longer used for commercial use. And so the fish underneath it is just absolutely amazing. And we use this as both a training and a shore diving site. Maximum depth is about 5 meters. And visibility is typically very good, and it's a wonderful place to go. But as I've said, with all of our dive sites literally being 10 to 15 minutes away from the dive shop, we can cover every type of eventuality, whether you're looking for some nice challenging drift dives, whether you're looking for something a little bit deeper, but also if you want to do the macro or just the really gentle, soft Caribbean diving, we can do all of that as well. At Deefer, we're able to cover everything from tri-diving all the way through to instructor development and the technical stuff as well. We too do CCR using KISS rebreathers here. And on the south side, where we've got the likes of Frigate Island, Celine Island, and Large Island, we also get the larger encounters, whether it be big turtles, big rays, eagle rays, mantas, but also plenty of shark encounters at the 3 shark diving sites that we have down there. If I go next slide, please. We're also known for our macro as well, and there's some amazing macro diving that we have, particularly around the likes of Jackadan, which is another little island I can just see here from where I'm sitting. We have lots of colourful flatworms, sea slugs and nudibranches, and lots of different types of shrimp, including, oh God, the name's just gone out of my head. Mantis shrimp, that's it. I can remember the signal, but can't remember it. And with our lack of rush, the fact that we aren't pressured, we don't have the same time pressures that other locations may have, it means that we're a real boon for the photographers, and we can go out and capture what we want to do and take as long as we like. Makes it a real ideal choice for people like that. Next slide. At the end of the day, if you're looking for a little bit of après dive fun, there's plenty of relaxed bars and restaurants in the main town of Hillsborough, which is where our resorts or where our hotels are located. But we also have a yachting centre in Tyrrell Bay, which is right at the other end of the island. a whole 2.5 miles away. As I said, nowhere is very far. And in Tyrrell Bay, it's a different vibe. It's a lot more buzzy. There's a lot more bars. There's a lot more music. As we can mix in with the yachting community and have a good night out, if that's what we're looking for. The key thing I like about Carriacou, and the key thing that most people notice when they come here, is it's not just the rustic nature or the relaxed nature and the charming nature that we've got here. It's the real friendliness that you encounter here. Everybody wants to know who you are, where you're from, and whether you're enjoying their island. You'll get stopped on the street with people saying, because they'll recognize that you're a new face, and asked where you're from and how you're enjoying the island. And people are genuinely interested to see that you're coming here and you're enjoying your experience, and they'll do a heck of a lot to make sure that you have the best experience you possibly can. Next slide. So what else can both Grenada and Carriacou offer? Well, there's an increasing demand for more technical diving, for more extended range diving. And so for both Aquanauts down in Grenada and for us up here, we've started to move into the technical and extended range options. So some of the things that we can offer include technical diving configurations, technical diving training, particularly with Paul and the team down in Grenada, but also the ability to support or provide CCR diving and training too. Next slide. Whether it be a case of you're just looking at doing a tri dive with some kind of rebreather, or some of the entry to technical options, Tech 45 or just intro to tech and advanced nitrox. All of those things are here, where we're each able to provide enriched air gas mixes up to 40%, and certainly at Aquanauts they're able to do trimix diving too. I can here in Carriacou do trimix, but it needs to be pre-purchased and pre-ordered, as we don't have the gas supply here. We've got to get it from the mainland. Next slide. But for those people trying the technical side, and for those people trying rebreathers, both operations are able to provide tanks. We also have a couple of equipment units, rebreather units that we can rent, and Zorb and O2 is widely available as well. Just a case of which flavor you prefer, which flavor you'd like to try, and let's see if we can book that up and make something happen for you. Next slide. So the opportunities really exist to try lots of different types of diving, particularly if you're looking at doing a two-center approach. If you want to go and dive the Bianca Sea or some of the other amazing wrecks that are down there in Grenada, and then come away to Carriacou and see a really lush, vibrant reef system, then we've got that ability. The photo that we've got here is from my favorite dive site up here, which is called Layer Cake, which is just on the north shore of Frigate Island. It's a dive site that will drop down to about 35-40 meters and in layers all the way down. And we have overhangs all the way down there, and it's just the most spectacular dive site that I've seen around the Caribbean region. We have a bit of current pushing us along, but with that we then get the sharks, nurse sharks, black tips, ocean Caribbean reef sharks, the mantas. We get the eagle rays and the big turtles. It's just a real exciting dive site to see. I'd like to say it's good for the macro, but with the current, it's not so good. But I'm sure there's macro there if you could stay still long enough to see it. But between Carriacou and Grenada, we have a bit of everything for everyone. Last slide. And so without the crowds and our facilities, it's really easy for you to spread out on our boats and enjoy the comforts and enjoy the opportunities we've got here, whether that be just recreational open circuit, whether it be doing some technical diving, or whether it be closed circuit and bubble free. We've got you covered. Thank you very much for listening to us. Any questions, just let us know. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much, Gary.
My absolute pleasure.
Another great little talk about somewhere nice and tropical, as we're sat in the dark and cold here. For me, definitely something to look forward to, maybe coming over this year. With that, I believe it's fine to kind of come over to see you guys at any time of the year, but there are probably some months that are better for others in terms of the weather or in terms of specific fish. Would that be right to say, Gary? Yeah,
I mean, cracking, echoing there. The winter time tends to be when we get more of the larger pelagics because the water's cooler. And so you will encounter the manta rays right now. We'll encounter the manta rays. We'll see the large eagle rays. We'll see the big sea turtles, your greens and your large hawksbills. And then as the water starts to warm up from April, May onwards, they clear out and go to colder waters. And what we're left with here then is much more of the traditional reef fish. The reason why I like May in particular, as I said, it's for the small things and just for the sheer life on the reef. It just explodes suddenly in May. And with all the juveniles, which are all brightly colored, you just have this dance and this array of small fish everywhere. And it's quite breathtaking. We've had divers comment before that they're trying to take photos of things and they can't because there's too many damn fish in the way, which is a nice problem to have. As we move through the summer, those fish all start to grow and the reefs still feel very populous. But it can get a little bit humid topside. I think that's fair to say. And as we get to the end of the summer, September, October time, or October, November time, that's another time that I really love because the humidity goes, but the winds haven't come in. The Christmas winds that we have haven't come in, the trade winds. And so you can get 40 or 50 meters of visibility on any given day. And so you jump in. Some of our protected sites on the leeward side of the island are like diving in glass. It really is that spectacular. And so kind of, for me, May and October are the absolute ideals, but any time's good.
Brilliant. Tiffany, have you got anything to add to that with specific areas off Grenada?
Not really in specific areas. I honestly, thought it's the best answer I think I've ever heard of someone explaining the best times to visit Grenada. Yeah, so that was great. I was taking notes. But yeah, I guess because May is a wonderful time, and something that actually we're launching this year to make it even a sweeter incentive is Conservation and Dive Fest. So Grenada used to have Dive Fest, which was the month of October. But this past year, we decided to push it into May, and it's going to be Conservation and Dive Fest as Pure Grenada Grenada Tourism Authority. We're making that push into the conservation realm as far as the country. So we'll be bringing in experts to talk about their field of expertise. There'll be emphasis on like ocean spirits, for instance, which is the leatherback conservation organization on the main island of Grenada. It's up in the north, which is a beautiful, quiet area. And you can actually volunteer overnight to monitor the leatherback turtles during the month of May when they're laying their eggs. So you can basically, if you see a leatherback, you collect measurements, you count how many eggs it has. It's just a really, if it's tagged, then you would count, it's like write down the tag number. If it's not tagged, you actually get to tag the turtle. So it's a really cool experience that is in the month of May. And then in the month of June, that's when the hatchlings come, so you can see the baby turtles. So that's basically one of the things that we'll be highlighting in Conservation and Dive Fest in May. But it's, again, there'll be a whole highlight on diving in Grenada. So you'll get a chance to learn a little bit more about what exactly is happening on the islands and different things that the businesses are a part of, as far as like conservation work or highlighting their favorite dive sites. You know, it's a lot coming. So this will be the first year of it, but obviously in the future, as we get this ball rolling, I see it being very successful and a lot of fun. So that more so incentivized visiting in May as well.
May it is.
Yeah. I can see we've got a few questions that come through the Q&A, if I can just quickly answer those. So the first one is, how far is Grenada from Carriacou? Distance-wise, it's from the north shore of Grenada to Carriacou, it's 21 miles. From St. George's, it's about 40. The ferry that comes up takes 90 minutes to do the 40 minutes. It's actually a really nice cruise as well. I mean, certainly the majority of it is, as you get to run up the entire leeward side of Grenada before going past the Îles du Ronde, which is a little archipelago of islands just off the north shore of Grenada, kind of midway between Grenada and Carriacou. And then as you approach Carriacou, you have the archipelago of islands that we have from Black Rocks all the way through Large and Frigate Island, and then eventually to Carriacou. So it can be quite a pleasant little crossing, but yeah, about 90 minutes. Another question we've had is, what is Carnival like on Carriacou? Well, imagine the biggest carnival you've ever seen, all the sexy ladies and the floats and smaller, much smaller. What I love about Carnival here is it's very much a family feel. Carnival, we are only a small island, it's very much community based, and so you'll have 4 generations of one family all dressed up in the same dresses and outfits. So baby, mother, grandmother, great grandmother, all strutting their stuff and dancing a local dance we call whining, which is very graphic but very fun. It's good fun. So our carnival though is February, and unfortunately not this year. There's no carnival this year, so 2023 will be when carnival restarts, we hope. And the last question from Tiny Diver again, DIN tanks and 10 litres. We do have a range of 8s and 10s available here. I think my 8s are DIN, sorry, my 10s are DIN, my 8s are international. And quite often we'll use the 10s for side mount as well, if people want to do those. So there is a range that we have here.
Brilliant. Just in terms of pricing, I'm just sharing my screen again. Just to give everyone an idea, obviously you can stay as long as you'd like, and I'm sure people will. So we've got Visit Grenada is just 7 nights at Chuba Bay, bed and breakfast. There are other meal plans available, and 5 days, 10 dives with Aquanauts. That starts around $15.75. I think that's based in travelling in June. So obviously the flight price will change a bit of that. There's also some great offers at Chuba Bay right now, bookable by the end of the month, for stays right throughout the year. And then we have Spice Island Discovery. We need to obviously get there and stay for another week and eat a bit more food. So those starts about £2,900 for 7 nights on Grenada and 7 nights in Carriacou. As I said, everything's tailor-made, so you can, a week is a good time in each. But I think you need that these days to get away from the world. And that's available on our website. Are there any more questions? Can we see? Never say never from Jerry. I think I'm missing half the chat.
Paul said hi. So I wanted to know that Paul said hi. Paul wanted to know when he was visiting next. That's awesome.
That's cool. Does anyone have any question? Yep.
Sorry, we've had a question from JW asking if we're affected by hurricanes. Typically, Grenada and Carriacou are south of the hurricane belt, and so usually pretty safe from hurricanes. We get normally a lot of notice of them coming up. We'll have a stormy season, which is at the shoulder of the season, so it can get a bit rainy June and again in November. As we switch from dry season to rainy season. But when I say rainy season, it doesn't mean that it rains all the time. It's not monsoon, it's just that we go from dry season when there is no rain to rainy season where there's a little bit of rain. And a bit different for Grenada because you've got the rainforest and the mountains. So in Carriacou, we don't have that. We had a big hurricane in 2004, and the big hurricane before that was 1954. So you can see we don't get many. As we're way too far south to be usually worried by hurricanes. Hope that answers your question.
I look forward to seeing you, hearing from you, Sandy. Just in terms of that, if anyone's interested in receiving a travel plan which just outlines the flight pattern and a little bit about the hotel and the diving in each, I've put a little poll up. And we've got the diving in Grenada, trip idea, and the twin centre one. If people want to check those boxes, if you do want to receive something, my colleague Sue in marketing will be following up this talk probably tomorrow with an email to everybody who's attended tonight, and for anyone interested in those travel plans, she'll be sending them. For anyone who wants a specific quote to either head to Grenada or ideally to Grenada and Carriacou, Gary needs the company. Please do email us via either website. Contact us. It's very easy to do so from the website and from the destination pages. There we go.
I see
At least I
something
explained what I'm
nice.
doing. So I'll give people a little bit of a chance to do that. Gary and Tiffany, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
Absolute
it's been a
pleasure.
pleasure. Something that I realized we didn't cover that I think might be of interest for those who are thinking about visiting us if it's this year is the Cobid protocols. Not really a fun topic, but it is a fun ending as far as Grenada actually has loosened its Cobid protocol. So if you are fully vaccinated, you need a negative PCR test within 72 hours of your flight departing for Grenada. So if you have any connecting flights, obviously you want to make sure it's that flight that's going to land in Grenada. But once you arrive, you have that negative test result. You can prove the full vaccination status, and you have the health declaration form, which really takes like 5 minutes to receive yes, you're good kind of thing to come. You're allowed to explore the island as much as you'd like, go in between islands. So yeah, it's really been a lot easier as far as recent protocols being lifted. So now you can arrive, get a negative test, arrive and explore. So you can dive the next day, and it's a lot easier to visit.
Thanks for that, Tiffany. And I don't know if you've got anything to add to that, Gary, for your neck of the woods.
No, I mean, on the premise that all arrivals come into Grenada via Grenada. So on your way to Carriacou, you've already done your clearance. So jump on a ferry coming up. We've been largely unaffected by COVID up here. I think I had my first COVID test in 2 years yesterday. Okay, COVID, yay.
That's always good to hear. We have to do them every day here, pretty much.
Yeah.
But I think things are changing. I think I won't mention Boris, but I think he's changing a few rules this week, which will make things a lot easier for us to get around, which is cool. Right, I best let you guys go. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. This will be available on our YouTube channel within the next week. We have also spoken to Romney from Boutique Beach in the Maldives a couple of Saturdays ago, and Phil spoke to Nick and the guys from Belize last week. So there are a few in the series which we started again this year, and of course we did a few last year when everybody was proper locked down. So if you're interested in going back through those, please do and have an evening in, grab a rum punch or something, and
some chocolate.
and watch the show. Coming up, we've got St. Helena with Phil and Danny Copeland on the 9th of February. So that'll be our next one. Please look out for it on our social media channels and sign up for that. And I will let these lovely people go. And the next time you see them, hopefully they will be in person over in Grenada and Carriacou. Thank you, everybody.
Yes.
Awesome. Have a great day.
Thank you,
Stay
everyone.
safe. I wish you all well.
Yep. Have a wonderful night. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much.